I met Matt, and I remember like my early impressions of him were just what balls this guy has. This guy like he knew like so much about a lot. I don't even know. He would stay up at my place and do longhand calculus, and I don't know. It looks like gibberish to me, but he's like he knows exactly what's going on, and he used to tutor everybody on our floor in calculus, and he everyone kind of looked up to him for that. He was like the smartest guy. He was a bit older than me, and I kind of looked up to him as an advisor. And even after Santa Cruz, I was only there for 6 months, but even after Santa Cruz, we stayed in touch, and I could call him, and he'd call me, and I knew he could give me some reliable answers for any kind of problem I had. And I mean, he was really smart. He knew a lot. Um, I was shocked, but Matt, he's a great guy. Wow. I remember seeing him on his motorcycle, that classic bike. You remember it, right? It was sharp.
It's in the garage.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
it's a little beat up. We're going to restore it.
Yes, yes. That was. Oh, I remember seeing him just like jet away on that thing, just like. That is awesome, and yeah, man, he really knew, how to be cool. I looked up to him. He taught me how to dance too. I went to Berkeley one time at the UC campus. I mean, you might have done that with him, some of you. Did some blues dancing there, and I got to watch him dance, and he was. And he was stylish, He knew how to dance. Like, I didn't know he got into dancing. I think after Santa Cruz or before, but like
It was at Santa
it was at
Cruz.
Santa Cruz.
Yeah, he asked us for money for the lessons.
Oh really?
I think it was like $120.
Oh wow.
So yeah, we bankrolled that for him.
Money well spent.
But yes, I absolutely agree. Look at all this profit.
He was good at dancing. I remember watching him just he was smooth. Like he had to work the hips and everything. I'm sorry. I cannot do that for the life of me. But he inspired me to like not be afraid. Just never to be worried about it. No one cares really about what you look like or who how to think. He was his own confident man. I really appreciated that. And so yeah, I miss him.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hi, my name is Ray Don. I knew Matt from also student government, just with Andrew and Sarah in the back. Um, I don't know. We've been through a lot of interesting experiences, going to different meetings and conferences. But there was an inside joke that we keep bringing out every once in a while. In every meeting or conference, they would always misspell my last name. So one time I decided to go to the organizing committee and tell them, hey, come on. I always write my name in a certain way. You guys all mess it up. But maybe because they would think, who would have that kind of name anyway? I told them that my last name looks more Russian. And then he comes out of nowhere saying, oh, Ray, I always thought you were Polish. Now I know. And since then he would recognize me as this Polish guy. Hey, dude, we talk about Polish traditions and all that. But yeah, I always ask him, how did you get into politics? You're a math major, and he did really really well in different meetings. I mean, being a secretary at the regional meetings, he definitely brought some good points and that helped a lot of community college students. Also, he later became the president, as Andrew mentioned earlier. Um, what a great person. We shared a lot of common points of views, I should say, and we had a lot of different perspectives. Yeah. Yeah, he's really a really good guy. I was definitely shocked when I heard the news. It's definitely a loss. Shared some experiences last Thursday as well with all the dancers. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you. With regard to misspelling names, our name is a little unusual, and it's been misspelled any way you can imagine. But looking on the Facebook page, the picture of his picture from elementary school, there's a list of names at the side of that picture, and he's listed as Matthew Kumar. So that's a...
Polish?
What?
Kumar, Polish?
Indian, I think. So, do we have any more people to speak?
Hi, my name is Melissa, and I also knew Matt through blues dancing. I guess I met him around a year ago. I'm a Cal student, and we have a blues club at Cal. And there was one night when we didn't have pretty much any leads at all, and my friend who runs the club was texting everybody she knew to come immediately, all the leads she knew to like come because there was no dancing. And then all of a sudden this guy runs in the door as if, there's a fire. And it's Matt, and he asked me to dance, and I don't think, at that point I had only been dancing for a couple of months, and I was not prepared for what that was going to feel like, dancing with him. And then afterwards, my friend Alina, who had texted him, said, "Did you dance with Matt?" And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "Isn't he wonderful?" And I said, "Yeah." And so then, we added each other on Facebook, and we got to talking, and Matt and I also bonded over the fact that we were both dancers with chronic health problems. And I think it's really easy when you have a body that doesn't treat you very well. When you're in a lot of pain, it's really easy to sort of get bogged down by that. And as a dancer, it's a way of reclaiming your body and making something beautiful out of it when you're used to having it be something that's just filled with misery. And I think Matt really understood that. And last spring, I actually had to be hospitalized. And I remember talking to Matt on Facebook, and he got really excited because he really wanted to. He asked me, "Do you have an IV?" And I said, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oh, I'm going to choreograph a dance for you with your IV pole." And then when I got out of the hospital, I had been pretty sick before I had actually been in the hospital, and I hadn't been able to go dancing in like 6 weeks or something, and I was really, really rusty. And I got out of the hospital, and of course I wanted to go dancing. And there's a dance club in Berkeley, and I was feeling like, I had just spent 6 weeks being really sick. I wasn't really wanting to go, but at the same time I wanted to get back into it, but I was scared because I knew that I wasn't going to be anywhere near on the same level that I had been before. And I talked to Matt about it, and he was like, and I asked him, "Are you coming to Beat the Blues tonight?" And he was like, I don't really think so. And I was like, "Oh, well, I'm going to go. I'm feeling a little bit, nervous because I haven't gone in a while." And then he said, I'll come dance with you. I'll come be there for you." And I think that was really special. And I think that was really just shows the kind of person Matt was, where he was, willing to go out of his way to make somebody else feel safe and just show them that kindness.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Mattis, and when I first met Matthew Kador, we went to CSM together, and everyone mentions the Caucasian Cultures Club, but nobody mentions the fact that the teacher advisor for it was Mr. Ramirez. This was a very inclusive club that he was trying to make. The minority of people were white who'd actually signed up to be part of it. But this club, it never actually had any meetings because Mr. Ramirez got so much flack from the other teachers that the club had to be disbanded before it ever had a meeting. We always joked that, you know, for a fundraiser we'd sell like white Kit Kat bars and maybe little, you know, sugar cookies with, you know, Viking helmet shapes, but it never actually happened. But it was a fairly funny joke while it lasted. And I remember after I transferred out of CSM and we weren't really hanging out that much anymore, I got a Facebook message from him to go blues dancing. And you know, the first few times I kind of ignored it, but then I had a night where it's like, you know what, I'm not doing anything, sure, why not? If you can help me get there, I'll go. And go we did, on a motorcycle. Never before and never again have I ridden on the back of a motorcycle. Because sure, it looks cool, but damn, your knees get cold. And doing that right before dancing is kind of hard. But I remember all the friends that he helped me make over at the Blues Fusion, Shades of Blue, just all the different blues venues we went to. Everywhere I went, it felt like family. And I had this strong feeling that it was because of him that it was this way. I remember when I was first learning to dance, he led something I didn't know what to do with. And I asked him, what was I supposed to do there? And he said, I don't know, I'm just the lead. He had this carefree air to him, and it didn't really matter what he did as long as you had fun with him. I remember when I went to the hospital to see him there, I brought pizza and movies, and he was a lot more concerned about what the flavor of pizza was than the IV in his arm. And even when he was in the hospital, he never looked sad, he never was depressed. He always had a big smile on his face. And that's how I'm always going to remember him, just that happy guy who wanted to have fun. And I think that if he were here, he'd probably make some stupid joke and send us all laughing. And I think that he'd be happy to know that there were so many fond memories being shared of him. And that's all I got from him.
Thanks. My name's David. I was friends with Matt a few years after, I believe, Robert and Eric met him. There's been a lot of talk today about how Matt taught them something useful. Long-form calculus, dancing, how to cook a steak via Google. Matt taught me something that was not academic in nature. Quite literally, Matt taught me how to be dumb. Before I met Matt, I never took chances, never took risks. It was always the beaten path. Since then, I have added 12 new scars, broken 2 bones, and traveled, let's see, all up and down the West Coast, all the way down to Honduras, doing things that I would normally be terrified to do. And just 2 months ago, when I added the most recent scar, I was actually at an organization called Team Oregon, where they teach you how to ride a motorcycle. One hint as to who told me to do this. And I was, out of our class of 15, the only person to lay down the bike on my knee.
Ow.
Let me tell you, those, they don't look all that heavy, but they're a couple 100 pounds, and when you're going 20 miles an hour, it's not so fun. And you know, to be honest, before I met Matt, I was really kind of a boring kid. Now I've got a nifty scar between my eyebrows from rock climbing and ride around on a 700-pound cruiser. You know, I actually used to be terrified of speaking in front of people, and here I am right now. You know, 4 months ago, I was at Redmond at Microsoft Campus talking in front of 500. You know, actually doing SQA, which is actually, that brings me back to the point of this story. The two words that I remember the most from Matt, that's boring. This was shortly after high school at CSM. We were having lunch. I don't remember where. And I was talking about, you know, how I was going to go ahead and get my accounting degree and follow my dad and become a CPA and so on and so forth. And Matt looked me dead in the eyes and with not a smile or a hint of humor, "Why would you do that? That's boring." Like, that's my family business, bro. My dad's had that for 35 years. Like, well, I never really figured you for an accountant. You always seem like somebody a bit more adventurous. You like to find the problems, the puzzles. And, you know, shortly after that, I got into SQA. I worked in video games and websites and server backends. Now I work for Microsoft. I owe in my career, and I owe in 15 scars and 2 broken bones. It's my aim to continue adding more scars and hopefully less broken bones. But scars indeed, kind of in memory of Matt. And I think it's something that we should all do.
Very good.
Maybe without being
Hi, my name is Alyssa. I knew Matt through when he was teaching Alley Cat Shuffle. He taught me how to do this dance. And then he helped me through a really painful part of my life, just by being there and being safe and being kind and listening to me. But we got to know each other best online because when he got hospitalized, he lived on Facebook. And I would kind of keep it open on my computer. He would constantly be chatting me.
Bong.
And I wanted to go to the infectious blues dances, but I was always working, and I could never go. So finally, right before Christmas, I had a free afternoon, and I had 2 choices. I could go and see Matt in the hospital, or I could Christmas shop for my family, and I decided I should do both. So I went and I got Matt in the hospital. We sprang him for 4 hours. The nurses were very clear that we had him back in 4 hours, not a second over. And we went to the mall and we Christmas shopped. And while we were Christmas shopping, there were a couple of people from a radio station playing hip-hop stuff to advertise for something. And Matt said, "Let's dance." And I said, "To this?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Here?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay." So right there in the middle of the mall, we do dance to hip-hop. And it was one of the most amazing things I've ever experienced because he was fearless. He didn't care that there were other people around. He didn't care that it was hip-hop. He didn't care about anything. He just wanted to dance. And so that's what we did. And then he was very insistent about the Chinese restaurant we went to get dinner because he needed good food. And we got him back with 1 minute to spare.
Thank you, Alyssa. Anybody else? I guess not. Mom, it's your turn.
This is going to be hard for you all. There's a lot of young men and women here, all beautiful,